Hi everybody, this is Professor Ben Vargas over at Irvine Valley College, and decided to make this video for my Math 10 students. Let's take a look at this here. And it's in regards to using binomial probability, which happens to use some type of a formula. And I wanted to show you how to use this on StatCrunch because it can get pretty complicated. But with StatCrunch, it's actually not bad at all. Okay, so in this problem here, we have a very similar problem you're going to see in your homework and possibly also the quiz. That's a little hint. So what it is I'm going to read it. The probability is 0.3 that a traffic fatality involves an intoxicated or alcohol impaired driver or non-occupant in 8 traffic fatalities. Okay, so the trials are 8 traffic fatalities, and we would like to find the probability that the number y, which involve an intoxicated or alcohol impaired driver or non-occupant, is. So 0.3 is the probability that it occurs one time, and we're looking at 8 of these. So what we want to do in part A is actually the breakdown of 3 parts. We want to know what's the probability that of those 8, exactly 3 of those 8, result in these fatalities of intoxicated or alcohol impaired driver, non-occupant. Okay, so that's the probability of success. It's a little weird, but that's how it is. And then the second part, there's actually 3 parts to part A. The second part is at least 3, and then the third part is at most 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to open up StatCrunch, okay? So I'm using a Windows Surface, so that's located right here. If you're using a desktop, I think you're going to find it on the right side. So whatever device you're using, just open StatCrunch up. And just let me kind of go through all these pop-up issues here. Okay. All right, so here's StatCrunch, and so what you're going to do is, hopefully you can see my stylus. I'm not sure if you can see that or not. I'll have to check the recording. The stat, you're going to click on the stat tab, and then you're going to go to calculators, and down here you're going to see binomial. You're going to click on that. Okay, so this window's going to pop up, and I'm going to try to bring it up because I know you may not see it when in the recording. And here, the way that you're going to calculate this, it's by default, it's on standard. The way you're going to calculate this is you're going to need to know the number of trials, and which is n, okay, and you're also going to need to know the probability of success. So in our case, I don't know if you remember it. Let's just kind of bring it back. The probability is 0.3, and the number of fatalities were 8 fatalities. So that's the trial. So n equals 8, and the probability is 0.3. So let's bring that StatCrunch back up here. Okay. So we're going to go here. We're going to change that to the number 8. We're going to change that to the number 0.3. Okay. And then the second part to it, if you remember, it said that for the first part, actually the first part was we wanted the probability of exactly 3 traffic fatalities. So you're going to change, there's actually an option to change the inequality here. You have an option of equals. So we're going to write equals, and then we're going to write 3. And then we're going to compute. And this is exactly the probability you want. So I'm going to copy that, and I'm going to paste it here. And we have additional directions here that we do want to round to 4 decimal places as needed. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And that should do it. All right, so I'm going to check the answer down here. I don't think you're going to see it, but if you check your answer, you know how to do that on MyStatLab. You know that when you check it, it tells you, something like this, something positive. So we know that that was correct. Okay, second part of that question. This time the probability is at least 3 traffic fatalities. Okay, so at least 3 means this. It means that the minimum is 3. So they really want to know what's the probability of 3, and then what's the probability of 4, and then what's the probability of 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, and then add those all together because they're really OR statements and they're independent. So we're going to change this inequality to greater than or equal to 3. That's what at least means. It means greater than or equal to 3, so that includes 3, 4, 5, all the way to 8. So we're going to compute that, and it's already computed for us. Okay, and so that will go over here. We're going to paste it, and we're going to round. So if I round, I believe that's correct. Yeah, we rounded to 4 decimal places. We're going to check our answer, and we know that's correct. Okay, last part of A, at most 3. So this time at most means that we want to consider 0, 1, 2, and 3, the probability of all those happening. So that changes that inequality to less than or equal to 3. Of course, the trials and the probability do not change in any of these 3 parts. I'm going to compute that, and there we go. There it is. Copy that guy, paste it here, and we're going to round that, and looks like we're going to have to change that number, that 8, to a 9. Going to check our answer, and we're good. Okay, all right, so we did part A. Those are really like one-sided, standard one-sided inequalities. I also wanted to do B because B is also an example of an in-between probability. We are interested now in, among these 8 traffic fatalities, what's the probability that between 2 and 4 were caused by the intoxicated or alcohol impaired driver or non-occupant. Okay, so the in-between is a little different. Again, you go to that StatCrunch, and I want to show you here that if you take a look at the standard, we're on standard right now. There is an in-between option. We're going to click on that, and you can see now how this changed, right? So now we have a possibility of a double inequality. And so what we're interested in, I'm just going to go back, make sure I know. Okay, so it's 2 and 4. So I want to go between 2 and 4. So that includes 2, 3, and 4. But instead of calculating all of those, you can just use StatCrunch and compute. And that is our probability that we want. We're going to post that here. We're gonna paste it. Place that there. We're going to paste it. And we are going to round to 4 decimal places, and we're going to check our answer, and we are good. It's fantastic. Okay, so the rest you can do. The rest will just you'll need a non-graphing scientific calculator and a little bit of review in the sections. There are formulas to calculate the mean and the standard deviation, but that's pretty much it. Thank you.